Hello guys, it is me, ATARi HMB, and today I am going to announce I'm officially returning. Now, before I go ahead and start up with that introduction, I'd like to say thank you guys for all the continued support, as well as looking at some of the comments. It looks like my Yu Yu Hakusho video blew up since the last time we talked about it, and it looks like they're asking, hey, would like to see a video on your opinion on Hiei versus Sasuke, the death battle released. A lot of Naruto fans are saying Sasuke was nerfed and Hiei was not able to move at light speed or stronger. In fact, they say Sasuke isn't universal, and I think the subtle programmer said the whole S-class being able to destroy the planet and Sensui powering up and Genkai saying Yusuke can destroy the world is all mistranslated. So you want my thoughts on that and the death battle? Well, where do I begin? Well, let's go ahead and get started. So my first initial thought on it was that I agree with some of the videos or some of the things others been stating. To an extent, Sasuke was heavily nerfed, and that's a fact. But do I overall think he'd beat Hiei? That's a different story. Now, let's go overall talk about some of the disagreements. Hiei isn't planetary? Are you joking? And there's been other statements such as, hey, this is from Manga Panda, not from the Viz. Well, thank you for that, Seth. Because when Seth stated this in his other video, I'm going to overall be going in detail with another form video. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be taking the liberty of explaining to you exactly why that is wrong by using the Viz manga. That's right, I literally bought it just for this video. So let's overall go with the results. Starting off, firstly, we'll be talking mainly about Hiei, but to talk about Hiei, we gotta scale Yusuke, since they are equals after all, right? Now, first off, I'd have you note that an A class is generally country level. It's been stated several times, or well, at least twice. It's stated here in this context that an A class is country level, since they said the crisis in which human world is A2, risk of national units or international destruction for the Viz. Now, how do I know it's A class? Well, because the only demons who went that level was Kurama and Hiei. They must have sensed them and then got dispatched. In addition to that, they were sent over to kill Yusuke before he hit that high level as well, so you can argue that. But regardless, Sensui even stated verbatim, in the human world I cannot use more than 50% of my power, and he laughed about it. That is true, Seth was right, but the problem was the context. The context says that Sensui does not want to destroy the planet because in the scan he isn't using 100%. Just by not using 100%, the cave for miles is literally erupting and causing rocks to crumble and shatter. I'd also like to state that the Holy Chi is far above normal spirit energy. It's similar to God Ki, so even if Yusuke had 10 times the aura, it would still not be as high. Now, again, let's prove the outlier. Yusuke later states that why bother, you want to destroy the world anyway, so go ahead and do it. Sensui yells at him and explains, I love the world. It's air and sky, it's flowers and animals, but I despise humans. So as you can see here, Zamasu Jr. is stating that, given this context, this is not life-wiping, as again, he says he loves the world, and the sky, and the air. So pretty much he loves everything that has to do with everything except humans. Keep that in mind when you say Sensui is only surface level. There will be no need for him to only be surface level in this context. Now, continuing on, let's talk about the SDF, because I have a lot to say. Originally, the SDF was supposed to be something when the spirit world sensed an A-class demon or possibly higher. So any of those threats, they would come out and dispatch them. Now, why is this important? Well, here's the thing. It was actually stated that Yusuke in the original manga was orders of magnitude greater than anything the SDF ever encountered, and they've defeated the most powerful of A-classes, right? So what does that mean? Well, what it means is, an order of magnitude is the class of a system that classifies determined by size. Each number is, a multiplier of itself. So about 10 times on the average. Why is this important? Because he's many orders of magnitude. It should be noted that many is greater than a couple, a few, some, and several. And as notably, it's been stated to be 5 or greater, since it is a high number. Now, I'm going to use 7, since 7 is probably higher than 5 and 6, just to give you guys a scope. The SDF announces Yusuke's orders of magnitude greater than anything they've ever faced, so let's assume the highest of A class is the high ends of country level. and the SDF combined together should be continental, given how stronger they are. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I'm going to show you why. The mathematic actually checks out to having Yusuke at the end result of 7.6 zetatons of TNT by this statement alone. This already proves that he's around small planetary if he's 10 million times stronger. Given that 10 million times difference over country is very important. Now, outside of this, even the math supports this premise, and Genkai implies in the original Viz translation that they could destroy a pet, a marriage, or an entire country. Pretty sure she's not surface wiping the freaking marriage or a pet. She means literal destruction, as in, boom, it's gone. Okay, so keep that in mind. Continuing on, the next piece of segment I want to go over with is Hokushin, because that's going to help you understand Hiei. Hokushin essentially came as a D-class demon, was S tier, but defeated Yusuke with ease due to his experience and skill. It should be noted that it took Yusuke 6 months to surpass Hokushin, and it took the others, such as Jin, Rinku, and Chu, to about 6 months before they can double their spirit energy. So overall, I'd say it would take Yusuke about 6 months to triple or double, but I think Hokushin being at least twice as strong as him is good enough. Now why am I saying this? You'll see soon enough. Now, after all, since we were able to prove that, we need to first prove Yusuke's yokai level. Since Hokushin's around 36,000, how much is Yusuke's end of series? Well, it's actually above 500,000. Why? Because Yusuke's been stated to be equal to Shura, and that's the power level that Yomi wanted for Shura. So keeping that in mind, that should actually give you a solid concrete number for Hiei. Now, continuing forward, why is this important? Well, again, it's important because we need to understand the context of everything else that's appearing. Raizen's Yoki level was 1.322 million. Now, overall, his OP, which is offensive power, needs to match Yusuke. Since offensive power is the main formula here, most people will say, well, the total Yoki power doesn't include speed and power. Well, that's good that you say that because we have statements and calcs for their actual attack potency. I don't even need to guess. So, what does that mean for Yusuke? Well, Yusuke has been compared to Raizen all the time, so I have a way of figuring him out in Hiei since they're both equal in that department. If you take Raizen's power and divide it by 500,000, you get about 2.644. After that, you could take Raizen's overall power for his, well, attack potency and divide it by this 2.644 difference. This will tell you what Yusuke's difference is in terms of the power. So what is that? Yusuke is approximately 160,363, and that would be the same for Hiei. Now, since Yusuke's TP is 500,000 and his overall OP is at this number, I'd have you know that projectile-based auras are actually double the attack potency. That includes the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. So, what does that tell us? Well, that would tell us that the overall result should be 320,726 Yoki. And why is this important? Well, since we've already proven that Sensui was twice as weak than Hokushin, his Splinter Rishuyuken should put him at the Hokushin level, right? As far as OP goes. So let's say Sensui is about 5,900 since he makes up for the 2 times gap difference. And overall, that would be about, well, 237.76 zetatons of TNT. Why am I saying that much? Well, because we have to prove that Sensui at 50% was able to destroy the planet, and then we're going to go on the low ends of planetary, and then we'll just multiply accordingly. Now, why is this important? Because Yusuke's ray gun by this statement, or at least for Hiei, in this Dragon of the Darkness Flame, would actually prove itself to be 12,934.144 zetatons of TNT. And overall, this would improve it to be 12.934144 zetatons of TNT, which gives us a verdict of them being around large planetary, around Neptune size, given the joules required. Given that Yusuke hits the Holy Chi later, that's important as well, since Hiei is still relativistic to Yusuke. So why am I saying this overall? Well, because people always seem to doubt the series, so I wanted to show you there's more than one way to get them the planetary. Even ignoring this, Yusuke has some pretty impressive normal casual feats. His aura was able to encompass a continental size, well, region or ring. In addition to that, he knocked the demons into the sky in Demon World, and these could have been S classes and A classes, since an average B class can't even exist given the powerful aura behind an S class, right? Yeah, that's correct. Except, Screw Attack used the anime, which anime Yusuke knocked these S classes into freaking orbit. I mean, look at that. They're off the planet completely. They're stars. And given the size of these, you can already prove they're millions of kilometers high. So, I'm sorry, Cam Parrot. Screw Attack actually did a good job when they said that this is millions of miles high. Now, why do I say that? Well, because Demon World is a lot far larger than you actually think it is. Yeah, we actually have scans to prove that Demon World is far larger. So, keep that in mind. I'd also like to state for speed feats, they've actually traveled in hyperspace, which has been a notion which has been used to travel at light speed. This hyperspace has actually been proven in series to be a fourth dimensional realm, or fourth dimensional link between worlds. Yeah, exactly. Now, why am I stating this overall? Well, because you have Yusuke's Spirit Gun hitting Sensui, or going past Sensui and hitting a mountain before the turn stroke comes. You have other statements such as Suzaku being lightning speed, but yet these characters are millions of times stronger. In their own series, they state their orders of magnitude stronger. And it's not a hyperbole for the statement, because Yusuke uses the same statement later on in the Viz official translation. Now, again, the reason I'm bringing this up to you guys is because a lot of you guys don't really like the idea of Yu Yu Hakusho being this strong. I remember back in the day, they used to have him at island level at best, which was actually pitiful. Now, do I think Hiei deserves to beat Sasuke? I do. I actually believe Hiei would beat Sasuke. Not only would he beat Sasuke in the mental department, given he has hypnosis that is more effective on humans, it's also the fact that Sasuke's ocular jutsu may not necessarily work on someone with an evil eye or Jigan eye that has spatial perception and low ends of precognition. Now, given that overall, why am I stating this? Well, Sasuke is a beast, absolutely, and is he planetary? I actually believe he is. But Boruto Sasuke, I'll be honest with you, would absolutely cross Hiei up like Steph Curry got crossed up by Kyrie Irving. Now, why am I stating this as well? Again, it's to prove that there's no bias, but I do want to address Yu Yu Hakusho and defend them because so many people have been stating, oh, they're not planetary, they're not light speed, or they don't have these levels of powers. Or they'll even be bold enough to make the statement such as, Sasuke stomps no difficulty, and I'm thinking, since when has Sasuke casually defeated planetary plus beings with one slash and slices? If you want to say no diffs planetary beings, I'd like to see him no diff Momoshiki or Kenshiki per se actually, and I'd like to see them no diff Toneri. Because, to be honest, although they kinda can, that doesn't mean they can easily just, one shot like, well, Yusuke did here. And that doesn't always prove that they're always going to be that much stronger. I'd also like you guys to note that the universal statements for, well, Sasuke, you can use the same here for Suzaku. Suzaku stated he'll turn the world into hell. In the official Japanese, he said that. So I don't even need the Viz to even prove this point. So given that sentiment, what, Suzaku universal now? Or at least planetary as a C class? And we've already proven Yusuke is a million times stronger than that. So we're going to get star level Yusuke now? Large star level Yusuke? Well, you actually could, if you use that statement. Now again, I'd like you guys to note that these are important here because, guys, we can make statements for both of these characters. The overall, like Screw Attack said, is to look for the more consistency. Now overall, I think if Screw Attack was going to use the proper Sasuke's, then Sasuke would win the battle high difficulty. Well, not this one, he'd slap. But generally speaking, if you're going to use the versions of EMS, then yes, I do think Hiei would win close battle and beat Sasuke relatively easily. Given Hiei has higher AP and is overall more powerful, you can argue he can hypnotize Sasuke. Probably be difficult to do, but again, that is a possibility. But anyway, guys, that has been pretty much all I had to say on the topic at hand. My thoughts, Death Battle was pretty okay. They had good argumentation, at least for saying, hey, we want this to be not circumstantial, but to be consistent. And I agree with that. Everything else was kind of booty in terms of scaling Sasuke. And Hiei, although they scaled him to planetary, which surprised me, Hiei is actually far stronger than this in the anime adaptation. Far stronger, and given that Demon World is probably the size of a large star, or not a large star, but at least the size of a star itself, I think overall the results we got were pretty good. But nonetheless, that has been my thoughts on the video overall. Thank you guys so much for watching and continued support. Once again, please give a subscribe leave a like and comment, and tell me what your thoughts are on the overall death battle, and if you have any questions, feel free to link them in the comments below. But yeah, overall, the result is Hiei is large planetary at almost massively faster than light speeds. Thank you so much for watching. This has been ATARi H&B, and I'm signing off. Peace.